Morning guys, today we'll be reviewing, not actually reviewing, we'll be driving, okay? We'll be driving for the first time an excellent Swedish car. Now, this was one of the most prime cars of its time, with a lot of forward-thinking innovations, and of course, it is not the Volvo. It is a Saab 900 SE convertible with a V6. Yes, this is it. Now let's get to it. First time in this car. Let's see. Yes. Fuck lah, what the fuck? But I unlocked it, no? Freaking hell. What's this? Oh wow, okay. Okay, let's drive. Now, if it's your first time getting into a car, the Saab car, right? You notice that the keys, the ignition is not anywhere near the dashboard, right? It's not anywhere near the dashboard because at that time, okay, at that time the keys needed to be somewhere else for safety reasons, because in a crash the keys would generally, according to their statistics, the keys would generally jam into the knee of the driver, which was a big risk issue. Of course, the crash was a risk issue itself, but you don't want any extra metal items inside your knee, right? So the ignition is actually here in the center thingy below the gear shifters. So this is the engine startup of the Saab 900 SE. V6, yo! We were finicking around with the drop top, and there's actually two latches here that need to be opened before you can operate. Yes, before you can operate the roof. So let's see if the roof operation works. Okay, that's the drop the top operation of this roof. Soft top. Morning guys, today we are driving the 900 SE Saab convertible. Now, a fun fact about this car is that it was made later on in the production cycle, right? The Saab 900 was launched in the year 1994, 95-ish. Morning! And the convertible was launched a few years later, I think 1 or 2 years later. Now this car, this car has a V6 engine, turbo, and it produces 170 horsepower with 230 Newton meters of torque. Saab is largely non-existent these days as a modern car manufacturer, but back in its time, after World War II, Saab was originally an aircraft manufacturer. After World War II, the demand of aircrafts went down, and they decided to create aircrafts for the road. And hence Saab was born. Now Saab is also a Swedish manufacturer, and I will argue to say that they are the second most famous Swedish manufacturer nowadays. And you can see a lot of that aircraft inspired design, and I can show you that as we walk around the car later. Now we're just driving it and then feeling it. This car was manufactured in 1996, which is actually the same year that I was born. Same age. So this car is like my brother, automotive brother, you know, same age. It's such a slow car, but today's standards, still a drop the top experience. For people who say that, oh no lah, you guys only sell very high-end drop the tops. No, we don't. Our high-end drop the tops go until the level of Boxsters, not even to the level of 911 cabriolets. For now, we're still working on that. But this is, you know, the entry level for our drop the top. It starts around 35k. This car has already run 136,000 kilometers, and it's still pretty sturdy. Yeah, it still works. Everything still works. God damn. I haven't seen this logo before. Saab from Scania. Interesting. Now, Saab had also the same philosophy, the same long-term philosophy as Volvo, as it really focuses on consumer long-term usability, practicality, as well as safety. Now these cars were built very sturdy, right? You can see it's a full leather upholstery inside, and the seats are actually orthopedically correct, which is the same feature as modern day Volvos. Now of course, if you say orthopedically correct, modern day Volvos hire in orthopedics the spinal branch of medicine, of medical, yeah. They employ modern orthopedics to design the seats, whereas this, they employ orthopedics of that time, right? So you can see the seating position is more traditional. It's a little bit straighter, and yeah, it's a little bit straighter. It's not so much a sports car, it's more of a sedan car. Right, back in that time, sedans were more popular, and then they converted a coupe version with a convertible version later on in the production years. Now this ended production in 1998, and Saab even back then introduced turbos into their cars as early as 1979. The successor of this car is the 93, and after the 93 there was the 95, and the 95 Vegan, which is Swedish for Thunderbolt, was actually a direct competitor versus the M3, yes, the BMW M3 of that generation. Sitting in this cockpit, it's so analog. Everything is very analog. There's an analog clock, of course all the instrument panel here is analog, of course, and it's a very minimalistic design. There's not much to fiddle around. Of course it's an old car, what is there to fiddle around, right? The fit is like, it's still pretty sturdy, you know, 20 plus years down the road. It's a very interesting car. It's a very interesting car. Now, oh man, right? For that time, this is like, wow, in the same competitiveness in terms of performance, it's very nearly a performance car of that time. It will go against manufacturers such as BMW and Mercedes, as well as a European manufacturer, as contending European manufacturer. And the 900 was Saab's best-selling unit in their whole lineup. Now, if Saab is so good, then why are they out of business now? Well, mostly because of the business side. It's mostly because of the business side, where the General Motors bought over Saab, and then basically decided to suicide the brand, right? Mix it together with Opel, and then started production, and basically just took Opel car models and put a Saab logo on it. Okay, so it lost a lot of that Saab Swedish quirkiness. It drives fine though. It drives fine. It's the strangest thing. And you can still drop the top. Even back then, the drop top mechanism is a soft top feel, but of course technologies weren't that good back then. So there's of course the tonneau cover at the back of the boot, where the roof, after it's been folded, it's been latched into, it needs to take up that much of a boot space to be able to store the roof safely, right? And you still got these latches where you have to unlock. Yep, it is a very, very mechanical car. You know, when I was saying that, oh yeah, the Porsche 997.2s, those were still, you know, mechanical going into analog. Nope, this is completely, fully, 100% mechanical. You can hear that V6 engine. No idea where I'm going. Well, apparently there's a beach somewhere here near my office. I'm gonna go find it. It drives fine. It really does. Of course, the responsiveness and everything, you can't expect it to be. You can't expect it to be a modern car, you know. Everything takes a while, and then see, boost is starting to kick in. It takes a while to spool up, it takes a while to do everything. Even the brakes you need to depress it to quite a level, and then you feel it, but it is absolutely a drop the top experience. You can hear that V6 spooling up, you can hear that boost kicking in. It's interesting. I wouldn't dare to take this on Penang One Better Drive though. Will be one of the slowest cars there. The 900 SE is only in automatic. Yes. Oh, big pothole, big pothole, big fucking pothole. And I'm not going anywhere near there because it feels like Kampong Road. Okay. No beach in this direction. No reverse sensors. Oh, got reverse sensor. Does it have a front sensor though? Nope. Interesting. Steering feels weighty. It's great. What the fuck? Oh gosh, it is so interesting to drive. Oh my gosh. this, a car of this age, seriously. Huh. It drives fine. Mechanically, it drives fine. It's not the performance-oriented cars that I'm used to, but it drives perfectly fine. And this would be a fantastic statement piece. This is an absolutely fantastic statement piece of a car that, you know, I own a 900 SE convertible. So you know exactly how to handle this car, right? You know how exactly to handle this car. There's really lots of feedback, even though the steering is not that heavy. By modern standards, it's a little bit slightly heavier, but not by that much. I'll argue that my M3 steering feels a little bit heavier than this. Electronically controlled side mirrors. Oh wow. This was a car ahead of its time, man. This was really a car ahead of its time. It reminds me of the previous generation Myvi, where it feels like, you know, it has everything that Myvi has. But then again, it's a very basic national car, of course. But comparing it to the years, this car had the features of a modern-ish Myvi. The previous generation, not the current generation. You even get a sports driving mode and a winter driving mode. See, this car turns heads. not even a 320i E93 would do that, or 335 E93. No. This soft top some more. V6. I don't feel scared. I'm amazed. I don't feel scared. Oh, I feel like crispy. Alright, let's head back to the showroom where I can show you the interior and exterior of this car. There's even a sports mode. Let's check out sports mode. No difference, man. Oh yeah, there is a difference. Especially when you do a full kick down. See? Revs a little bit more, a little bit sharper throttle response, but yeah. Hey, you got sports mode in a V6 convertible. Oh, hell yeah! Shit, brakes. Oh, brakes work fine. Brakes work fine. And you can even be driver focused with this car, right? There's a button that when you press it, all the display instruments, all the meters, they go to 0 except for your speed. Right? No. Okay, no, everything switches off. Yeah. You can't even see your speed. Everything switches off. And then when you turn it back on, only then it overtake easy lah. Everything switches off for yeah. Interesting. There's a check my sports mode. What the shit? This is definitely the highlight of this year lah, huh? Not the M3, not the Porsches. This is the highlight of this year. What the shit? Doing the old man check. Yeah, everything's sturdy as shit. Everything's sturdy as shit. Crazy. Oh. Now, an interesting story about this car is that how did we manage to actually get a car like this? Right? The owner was from Johor, I think. The owner was from Johor. And he saw that we had a Bentley Flying Spur. The red one. I think year 2010. Alright? That Bentley, he saw on Muda. And he saw on our pages as well. I think if any of you were here for last year's Evo Enduro meetup, etc., you guys would have seen that Bentley in our showroom. Right, so that's a used Bentley, 2010, and he wanted that Bentley. So he drove this car all the way from Johor to our showroom, traveling across Malaysia in his 900 SE convertible Saab. And basically came here and was like, I want that Bentley Flying Spur. I trade in this car. And that's how we got a hold of this car. And yeah, that's how. Oh, turning circle's fine. Oh, turning circle's fine. Perfectly fine. Similar to my V40 eh. Suspension setup, comfortable, standard, perfectly fine. Absorbs most of the imperfect roads. But yeah. Okay. Okay, let's park there. And then we can do a walk around. Actually no, let's park in front of our shop to do the walk around. Morning guys! Today we finished our drive of the 900 SE Saab. Now, of course, I have to park in front of our Volvo Aero showroom, where this is the little brother of Volvo, the Saab. Hey, Volvo, make convertibles, please. And the team is just outside here. Like, oh my god, this is like crazy. It's like antique, right? So that's the exterior of this car. You can see it's in this burgundy red sort of color. I wonder how much. Vivian, I want to trade in how much, huh? So you can see this 900 SE Saab right over here. Right, for a car of its time where everything was like square and boxy and very, very hard on the edges, this is actually pretty soft on the eyes. And I would say that this car ages very, very well. You can see how the headlamps curve to the side, and even get headlamp wipers over here. This is the very understated Saab grille over here with the Saab emblem. On the other side, it's pretty much the same story, where you have the curvature of the lights and the signal indicators. You get the headlamp wipers as well. Yes. Let's move on to the side of the car. Now, the black line that cuts across, I'm not sure what it is, but it's like a design language of this car, and they're operating their room. And it really reminds me of like the generation of E46 BMWs where you have that line cutting across. Alright. Now I always say that 没有关完啊 I always say I always say that the Swedish, in terms of their philosophy, the Swedish philosophy versus Europeans, the rest of the Europeans, the Germans, the Swedish are more alike with the Japanese than the Germans, right? Very long-term thinking, very forward, very future forward, and then they're like, okay, I want to design a car for the future. I don't care. No, I don't care, but I'm willing to sacrifice short-term profits for long-term gains. And that is exactly what Volvo has done. It's just that Volvo also went through a very finicky stage in its you know, the life of its company, where it had basically been under control by Ford. You know, Americans ruin everything. Oops. Like the GM Motors as well, General Motors. General Motors went bankrupt in 2008, and Volvo was lucky enough that Geely saw potential in its brand, and saw potential in Polestar, and saw potential in the future, and decided to invest in Volvo, not Saab. Right? Can see how the roof operates halfway, and that's the leather cover. Yep, it closes in on itself. Oh, this is the opening. Okay, yeah, so basically this piece folds to soft top, cranks back in. You can even see the exposed mechanism right there, and covers, lock, and done. Right? Very interesting car. Very interesting car indeed. So that's the side profile of this car. You can see the line that cuts through, like acidity cuts through fat and grease. Move on to the rear. This is a 2.5 liter V6 turbo. Early adopters of turbo cars. Yes, this is one of them. You can see the whole light indicator, everything, the brake lights, everything cut across this whole entire thing, and it just seamlessly moves across. You know, Porsches, all the modern cars, they want that rear light to cut across. They did it first. You want the first. They just did it less eloquently lah. And modern cars, you know, with that strip of light across, of course it looks beautiful, but hey, I never expected to see that design language on this car. Very interesting car indeed. So there you go. That's the exterior walk around. I don't know what to say about it. It's very interesting. It looks like a mild hybrid of course a European car. At the same time, it looks a little bit German, because that line really just reminds me of the BMW E46s, right? It's very homogeneous. It's very synchronized, the design. It's very, yeah, very simplistic lah. If I have a line there, then I have to cut across the whole car. Then if I have the brakes there, I have to cross the whole car, the lights. And then the front as well, now that you mention it, yeah, I have the headlights here, then the same length and width and dimension, I have to cut across the whole car. A very simple design, very clean. That's Scandinavian for you lah. Very simple, very clean. Let's move on to the interior. Yeah. Okay. So there's a button here to wind up all the windows at the same time. Is it this one? Yes, it is. Yep. That's the very simplistic Saab interior, and it really reminds you of aircraft carriers. You can see all the buttons here. There's some knobs. What is this? Oh no, it's a stick on. No, that's a knob. Oh, what the fuck? That's the horn? Holy shit. Wait, what the fuck? Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Does this work there? Oh shoot, this does not work. So it's actually rerouted to here. So if you want to honk, it's from here. Huh. interesting. You see this sort of this is the aircon vent as well. There's 2 layers to this aircon vent. One, you know, you can segregate. Okay, the top half blows my face, the bottom half blows my feet or the door or whatever. The lights, the height and the angle of the lights can be controlled here, and the intensity of the lights can be controlled from here. You get a very analog display, still of course very analog display. 1996 car, right? This has been retrofitted, I think. I don't think Harman Kardon was standard with this car. It's been retrofitted, and you can still get a very airplane style analog clock, because of course Saab was an aircraft manufacturer. Can clear the what do you call it, the service. Of course we will do our service as customers see the car. Now it's due for service lah, that's why I'm driving this car, right? So yeah, display very analog. You can see this black panel clears all the existing information on the instrument cluster, right? So you can entirely just focus on driving, right? It even clears this little infotainment pop-up information here. You get the oh no, okay, I broke something. Okay, yeah, we'll get that fixed later on. Oh shit, I broke it. Okay, never mind, my bad, sorry. And then you get the aircon vents control. You get, you know, some more blacked out buttons over here. I don't know what TCS is, so I'm not gonna touch it. Yeah, overall very simplistic interior, except for this thing that I just broke. Freaking hell. Okay, we'll get that fixed. Yeah, nothing much to speak of. Space at the back, you can fit kids. Yeah, I don't think you can fit adults. Nah, not very good. Cannot. Yep, so very simplistic interior, but the design language, this whole panel is just plucked straight out from an aircraft and then put into your car. There you go. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this review. In the meantime, I'll go get this car fixed up from the things that I broke. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting us at Drop the Top. And please do remember to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.